What industry is a lot shadier than it seems? Avocado farms. Most of the farms in Central America are taken over by the cartel because of how much money is in selling avocados. Trucking. The margins are razor thin, and so everyone is trying to nickel and dime each other constantly. The drivers lie to their dispatchers. The dispatchers lie to the brokers. The brokers lie to the clients. All of this for like $50 to $100 sometimes. Health insurance. In the commercials it is all about caring for your health and stuff. But if you ever get a serious illness, they will do anything to avoid paying for your treatment. Source: my mother got breast cancer and her health insurance made a business decision to let her die rather than pay the $40,000 for her treatment. They made that decision, then hired lawyers to make it happen. My mom got to fight them in court while going through chemo. She made it by mortgaging the house. She told me the insurance company caused her more stress than the prospect of dying. All industries are shadier than they seem. I used to work for a flute manufacturer and it was shady as hell. Not an industry, but higher academia is badly broken. Some of the smartest people are some of the most badly exploited. Old tenured professors limit the number of faculty many departments can have, forcing people to work as postdocs forever, effectively doing all the work the prof should be doing in the first place. Meager pay and long hours, plus constant pressure makes postdocs some of the most depressed people. The grad students are no better either. A lot of the times grad students don't complain about ill treatment, harassment and outright bullying, as they don't want to jeopardize their prospects of graduating. If you're a foreigner, this situation becomes even worse, whether you're a grad student or a postdoctoral researcher. The maritime industry. Most of the big companies do things by the book and treat crews well because they're afraid of lawsuits and unions. But many smaller mom and pop companies break laws and violate safety regulations with reckless abandon because they're not as visible and can stay under the radar, so to speak. It's very common for a small company to ask a captain/crew to do something illegal and dangerous in order to increase profit, and for the captain/crew to comply out of fear of losing their jobs. And that's just the US maritime industry. Sailors from poorer nations who work on ships are often fed little more than rice and cheap ramen for months at a time and paid pennies for their backbreaking work. I love running tugs for a living, but the industry as a whole is rife with shady business. Dietary supplements. It's gotten better, but there's still a lot of half-truths and whole lies. Not all that long ago it was seriously like the wild, wild west. As a chef/owner, I would say delivery services like Grubhub. They take 30% of the sale, leaving the restaurant with basically $0 in profit. And their customer support is a joke. It's like they hate us. Fuck them. Never again. Pet industry. Basement puppy mills and dogs that are so inbred they can hardly breath. There are plenty of ethical breeders out there, and some unlicensed breeders are ethical even if in a legal gray zone. But the conditions of some of the so-called puppy mills can be really bad. Sometimes when breeds are mixed and the pup gets the recessive genes the breeders weren't looking for, they straight up euthanize it because they know it won't sell. Not to mention how many purebreds are actually not pure at all, and sold as is. Shady. Eyeglasses. You have no idea the snow job they put most people through when it comes to buying them. It's far worse than trying to buy a new car from a dealership. Wholesale frames are about $5 to $20. Wholesale lens blanks are another $10. Any kind of dip coating, UV, tinting, etc. is negligible cost and effort to apply, literally pennies. To top it off, they don't even do a whole lot in-house, but send it to labs, which are basically sweatshops that can take up to 2 to 3 weeks when labor time is literally under 5 minutes. Instead of training real opticians and technicians, they are just glorified sales staff now. Most of the time they don't even bother with proper measurement for PD. Frame width, or arm fitting, was an optician in the early 90s. I'm horrified at what the business has become. The nonprofit world. Unfortunately, Most people at the top are in it to make a name for themselves and don't usually care about the mission of the organization. My dad knows a story from someone who works for a nationwide grocery chain. They have to deal with an Italian mafia to import balsamic vinegar. Shipping industry. With major corporations such as Walmart being one of the biggest contributors to selling stolen goods. Sometimes trucks go missing, or sometimes trucks leave earlier than the established time of departure and never arrive to their destinations. Let's say you have a Walmart appointment for 9:00 a.m. for a 2,000 carton order. It would take at least 2 hours to load all that. But once the loading is done, the truck driver needs to wait until confirmation is given in written form. Well, Walmart truck drivers vanish halfway through the loading and never return. Now, Walmart has about 1,000 boxes not accounted for, plus no confirmation whatsoever that these 1,000 boxes were part of that 2,000 carton order. So they treat them like a bonus. So far, only UPS, FedEx and Fred Meyer are the only companies that keep a close count and send back anything that wasn't in their original order. Heck, Fred Meyer sends the entire order back just for a single mislabeled box. LOL. These three guys are the good guys, from what little I've seen. But Walmart, Jesus. Sometimes, boxes get labeled as being something entirely different in order to bypass special qualifications or restrictions. For example, about the time when Corona-chan started going crazy, we had to label toys and board games as groceries for a huge Walmart order that took about a week and a half to properly label and ship. It was a nightmare, and pretty much every employee aside from the administrative staff was disgusted and pissed. Sex toys. It's horribly unregulated, and there are tons of manufacturers that use unsafe materials to make their toys. r/sex toys has lots of great info for people looking to get any. Rating services like Yelp refuse to advertise, and your good reviews magically get rearranged. Hey, look, if you want to do that and be transparent, I get it. But most every business owner knows how scummy this is, and most clients just have no idea. I have a business that isn't something that would usually be looked for on Yelp. They called and I just froze. Luckily I do long-term rentals and was sold out. Explained I wouldn't have an opening for months. They seem to leave me alone. Yet they have my business on the front page of Google search, under the wrong category. Meat industry. The factories are straight up disgusting. Not hygienic, and they break so many regulations it's ridiculous. But OFC, when an inspection comes, everything is in order. Nestle. They use child labor. Steal the fresh water reserves from small villages in South Africa, promising to give them better access to it, then privatize it and attempt to sell it back to them as bottled water at a price they can't afford. Not to mention, I believe they used some water sources rural villages needed for drinking water and used it to pump their wastewater into. Then hide behind their lawyers to let them get away with it. The tire business. Tires are a scam and shouldn't cost anywhere near what they do. Everyone along the supply chain is making bank. It's one of the industries I would love to see disrupted. Mental health facilities. A lot of people trust today's mental health facilities. But from my experience, they are quite flawed. Staff can be judgmental and condescending and downright cruel. A family member of mine was institutionalized for a while. I say with full certainty she was healthier before she went and then coming out. The places I've seen are most definitely for profit. They had no intentions of having her fixed and released. Also, sloppy. She was given the wrong people's meds several times. She was also prescribed dangerous combinations that wound up having her sent to the ER. Really stupid mistakes were made over and over. All of them. Every industry has serious problematic elements that most people don't know about since they aren't immersed in it. Take the art and entertainment industry. The exploitation of workers is getting better known, but even beyond the sexual depravity and general abuse, animators work ridiculous shifts with little creative/copyright control even over the stuff they do outside of work. Talk about the medical industry, where doctors receive kickbacks on prescriptions and such. The way Big Pharma pushes pills and restricts innovation and new technologies/treatments through things like the FDA. Talk about the food industry. Well, there's a lot on that. Everything's shady. Even right now about the half the world is dark. It's just how it is.